Hello everybody, this is Nuclear Mickey back with another Ark survival video, and this is part 3 of my 100 day series, Ark Primitive Plus. And the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to check out the spider cave. So that is the only set of artifacts I have to get. So there's actually 3 artifacts in the spider cave. I don't remember them offhand. It's 3 of the hardest artifacts to get, and so I'm just gonna head to the spider cave, check it out. I'm gonna go in the spider cave at one point in this video, and there is some complications. So I'm here, I'm at the spider cave, and I found a Thylo, so I just had to get him. I just had to. Really cool guy. He's green looking. The only problem is I don't actually have a trap ready for him. So this is my base, and I'm just sitting here puzzling. I'm like, how am I gonna get this done? I really don't know, because I don't have any traps set up. I tamed outside of the redwoods for the most part, or simple tames like, Pacer. I can get up on the top of something and shoot down at him. So I thought about what I was going to do. I ended up deciding I'm going to attempt to get him in the base. So I was just going to go up close, open the door real quick while I'm still on my wyvern. Was hoping I can just get close enough. It doesn't work out too well, as you would probably think, but you'll see right here. So I go for it, charge in, and what I didn't expect is he dropped it right there because I got too close to the bottom. And so there it is. The Thylo is off of me, so that's didn't go the best, but Ark doesn't go perfect all the time. So I figured he's not even aggressive. He's just running around. This is going to be easy. I'll catch him and figure something else out. But for whatever reason, I was off task. So my actual... Yeah, so I'm like, okay, perfect shot, and I missed it. Can you believe that? I don't even know how I missed that. Normally, I'm not that bad. I'm actually pretty good with catching things with the wyvern. Yeah, I'm off today. I do end up doing a lot in this video though, so make sure to watch to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you do enjoy this video. And I'm working on my intro. I'm gonna make a new intro. I just had like a simple one with the flames. I'm actually gonna adjust my logo a little bit, see what I can do with that. And one thing on the logo, I wanted to see if any of you guys could spot it. Tell me what is on the logo. So there's obviously the Mickey symbol in the center. But what do you think is in the logo? What's on the edges of the logo? And I actually punished my bear because he killed him. He needed a little bit of a punishment. He shouldn't kill him with Thylo. Of course he didn't know, but that was a good Thylo, man. I just do it for the colors. I don't really care about the level all that much. So, day 51. Now, day 51, I get everything ready. I'm going to go in the spider cave. So, there's a few issues with the spider cave instantly. So, the spider cave has this thing. It basically has gases, toxic gases in there, and you can't actually breathe it. And so I had the hazmat suit from doing the other artifacts, and I figured, I'm hoping that the hazmat suit will actually protect me from those gases that you would normally just need a gas mask for. So I tested out, really hoping this works the way I think it is. I took off my gas mask just to see, or the hazmat suit mask, to see if it would actually do damage, and then if it starts doing damage, I would put the mask on to see if that would work. But I just go in, I'm thinking it's fine. I mean, I was like, okay, well, that's the end of it. Super simple, not a problem. I was actually surprised. I thought I would already be gassed by now, and there's no enemies in here. I'm like, okay, maybe this cave's not going to be as hard as I thought it would be. I want to go a little bit farther in the cave. I'm definitely going to get more Pteranodons and figure that out. It's going to be a pain. But Primitive Plus, here's the problem, and here's the reason I'm mainly testing with a hazmat suit. Primitive Plus, which is what I'm playing on, basically, in the engrams, you have no actual gas mask. So there's no way to get a gas mask. No way, it's just not in the engrams unless you cheat it. And so, I'm going to try the hazmat suit later in this video. And another thing, when I watched the video that I watched on how to go through the cave, it actually said that technically you don't need the hazmat suit, you can actually make med brews and stuff. So, normally, that's what I would do, but Primitive Plus, again, doesn't have that, and it has cakes. And so that is what I do eventually settle on trying to figure out. I'm going to figure out how I can make cakes. Oh my god, a bat followed me out. How I can make the cake to basically give me health throughout the day. What I didn't know is just how hard making these cakes would be, and I normally don't make anything. I don't, I play Ark a lot, but I just generally ignore most of the plant structure. I don't grow plants, I don't do any of that, and I'm guessing it's gonna need to grow some plants. So that's what we're settling on doing. So day 52. So day 52 I started. So you actually need organic oil. So once I got that oil, it basically, that's part of what you need for the cake. That was super simple. You just get seeds. And I actually worked on the greenhouse, as you see here. Simple basic shape. I wasn't sure how I was going to do it or how I was going to go about it. Day 53. Day 53, my brother logged on. We were just playing around. He is in a water well. And in the last episode, I was trying to figure out what exactly the primitive metal hammer did. I have no clue what the primitive metal hammer did. It said something about trying to tame stuff, so I gave that was his job, to try and hit things and figure out exactly what it does, and we'll probably test it later in the video. We're just joking around here. But no, for most of the video, I don't actually play with him. He is in my talons right there, if you can't see. We go on a little adventure, exploring, having fun. And I'm kind of multitasking. And because it's a host local, I think it is, yeah. Because I'm hosting local, you can't actually, there's a toggle, so you can't basically stay very far away from me. It just kind of makes it difficult. So I have to carry him everywhere I go. I found these ruins. I had seen those before, but main thing I'm looking for is crystal. And I figured there'd be crystal on top of the mountains like there normally is. It was somewhat of a disappointing mission. It took me most of the day. I was just exploring. You'll see here in a second, I couldn't find any crystal, and I go back home empty-handed. But at least it was kind of a fun adventure. We were just kind of joking around, messing around. What is that? You can see the entire Valguero from up here. So this is the end of the day. I'm just going home, and somehow he is hovering on my back. I don't know. Don't ask me about that one. That one's a little crazy. And then the next day is when I actually start getting to work. I really start grinding on that greenhouse, because I know I gotta get it done. So day 54, I get more greenhouse pieces done. I have actually quite a few stuff I'm gonna add to it. I got the walls here. I already had a bunch of crystal on my base. It was just finding new crystals, always good. I think crystal was actually the most difficult thing in making all this. It took a long time. I was actually a little surprised it took that long. One thing is, my single player things don't respawn as fast, so that also was a little difficulty, because on the mountain that I live on, it's a crystal spawn, so normally I would just go up there and get some crystal. I think it's going to be a nice shape. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the water up there, up top. See how the water's falling down? That's going to be a difficulty I'm going to have to overcome. Day 55, I'm putting my triangle ceilings on. I figured triangle ceilings would be the best, and I figured just like the treehouse, I would actually copy the bottom floor plan. Now that confused me a lot. That orange thing right there confused me so much. I ended up breaking it. It's just... I was actually like, what in the world? I thought it was actually placed backwards. I thought there was a front and back side. So I finally figured out that there actually is no difference. And that's just the angle that you look at it in the sun. It changes colors based on the angle you look at it. So if you see me punching, that's actually the change, what do you call it, points on it. So it'll basically allow you to find different snap points if you punch. It's the same button as the punch on Xbox. So I realized as I look at this, so I'm turning, I'm like, wait a sec, it's orange there. And so I end up finding out it's just normal. See, it just changes color. See, it looks orange on that triangle, now it's orange on that triangle. So it's just the angle that you look at it. It's not actually what I thought it was. So it leaves me one triangle short, but that's okay. Day 56. Day 56. Now here was where I ran into a little bit of difficulties. How exactly I'm going to finish the rest of the floor plan. I thought I would do it just triangles, and I would just match the bottom, match the foundations with the ceilings. But because they're slanted triangles, it doesn't work out that way. So I end up doing a bunch of improvisation until I get this design that I figured out. And so I just finish up part of the triangle like this. It's not a fully enclosed thing, but it's plenty for the greenhouse effect, and it's just gonna work fine. Actually, it looks pretty cool. I think I'm pretty good at designing things. Tell me what you think of the design when it's done. And so the whole point of this is you actually needed wheat and sugarcane and all sorts of stuff for the cake. And wheat and sugarcane, those are primitive plus stuff. So what you do is just plant it, and then you have to dry the wheat, and you dry the wheat, and it just kind of, I don't know, it dries, and you put all the ingredients in. And so that's what I'm doing here is I'm building a greenhouse so I can get the wheat, so I can get the cake. And I thought once I would plant it, I would get a lot wheat a lot faster than I actually ended up doing. That's what it looks like from above. It actually turned out better. It doesn't look like there's a huge gaps in it, like it kind of looked like when it was up close. So it doesn't look that bad. I liked it. I was satisfied. There's no really other way around the holes in the roof. So here I really get to planting my crop plots. I got a bunch of medium crop plots I'm going to go around the edge. And I was just going to see how that worked out for now, and how I was going to get them irrigated. And then once I got them irrigated, then I would focus on placing maybe a bigger crop plot in the center, was my plan. But first I have to obviously get it irrigated. So I broke out the center 4 foundations, or the center 2 foundations right now. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking the thing, and I'm hoping I can get it through the other side of the foundation, and I can attach a hose to it so I can go through and underneath the foundation into the water, rather than having that weird, awkward, upwards thing that I had. So look, it attaches perfectly, the pipe goes, and it worked out good. So I was just, hey, it worked perfectly. I was surprised it actually went all the way through the foundation. I thought because I didn't plan that ahead of time, it would not work. So I placed the pipe intercept. It's obviously connected to water here, and it says not irrigated. I looked back after a second, it says irrigated, so there we go. I'm actually going in faster speed just to speed up the whole building process. Not irrigated, and so I look away, and it actually ends up saying irrigated. I figured that out after my second. I looked at a couple crop plots. I realized that was what was happening. So place that, and it's irrigated. And so if you ever do a design for your own one of these, it's definitely simpler. Remember, you can place those stone pipes or metal pipes or whatever you're using through the foundation, so that's always good to know. Actually, you saw some grass in the other crop plot, but I didn't seed it or anything. It's just kind of how the crop plot looks. So now I'm actually trying to get bone meal fertilizer, and so it's a mix between like hide, keratin, and all sorts of stuff. So I go over here where I can get a bunch of keratin, and I'm just gonna kill some mammoths. And bone meal fertilizer is just a bunch of dead animal parts, and you mix it together, and it's the primitive plus fertilizer. It might actually be a fertilizer or normal arc, but I'm pretty sure it's just primitive plus. So here I got all the ingredients for my bone meal fertilizer. So I just end up making actually a ton of those. I was surprised how many I can make. And see, that's all the salt. I actually made way too much salt when I was trying to get my hazmat suit. All that salt's used to refine the leather in Primitive Plus. And so basically I broke down a lot more crystal than I needed to, and ended up having to work for a lot more crystal when I was making this greenhouse than I thought. Because I thought, oh, I got plenty of crystal. Well, it was already refined all down into salt, so I can't exactly put the salt back into crystal. So here it is. It's growing real fast. We got a nice seedling wheat plant, another seedling wheat plant. And in the other spots, I wasn't sure what I was gonna do, but I did have some rice, so I figured I ended up putting rice in that spot. It should grow in just a second. And then I'm like, what else can I do? And I end up putting coffee seed in that other one. Bone meal fertilizer seems to work good. Look at that little plant. I actually have a coffee plant, or coffee seed. I never end up using the coffee seed in this video, but I might actually end up using it in the next video. Get some coffee to finish off the series. And so with the spider cave, when I get the cake, hopefully, even though I will lose health because of the gases that I'm just gonna take the hits, right? Even though I lose health, I should be able to negate that health by taking something that heals me at the same time. So this is a full garden now. We got the wheat plants are all grown up, and now I'm placing this thing in the center. So after I placed here, I actually placed a grape seed here. So I'm going to place grapes, and there's this new thing. I don't know if it's new, but it's in Primitive Plus, and it's called it's like a fruit juice maker, basically. And anyway, you take the grapes that you make, I think it's 30 grapes, you take the 30 grapes and you put it in the juicer, smash it down, and you got juice. And I figured I would use that too. It would probably help me out with some health for the cave. But it just depends on how long things take to grow. I was hoping I would get a lot more grape, but I don't actually get enough grapes fast enough for the cave, so a little sucked. But what you see in that background there, that was actually the right there, that little thing, that's the juicer. And so I'm going to show in a second that juicer, it basically, yeah, as I said, it makes grape juice and all sorts of juice. You can actually like put tinto berries and stuff in it with the mix of sugar cane, so you got to put sugar with like other berries and stuff. So there's the grape one. You need 30 grapes. So next thing I needed was actually a Dodo egg, because you need egg for the batter of the cake. So there it is. It takes 1 Dodo egg. So off to tame a Dodo. So I tamed this Dodo. Actually tamed 2 on accident, because the first one I tamed was not female. And so this is actually the thing I was talking about before. It does knock out dinos. I mean, I'm sure if your fist could do that just as good. It's just as easy, really. But, you know, I guess it doesn't help too much to have that special little tool, but it's okay, I guess. Obviously, that hammer is not going to replace my good old trusty crossbow and trank arrow. There's my wyvern going crazy over there. So I got a full-grown grape plant. I got no grapes yet, so that was a little disappointing. But when I do grapes, I'm definitely going to try and use that juicer. Day 59. So day 59, I'm about to do the cave, and I'm preparing, so I needed 2 Pteranodons. Here I am taming those guys up. Shouldn't take very long. Didn't expect it to take very long. It doesn't. It's like your first Pteranodon always takes so long to tame, and it's always very difficult. Look at the shot. Through the wing, I get him. I was like, oh, hell yeah. That was amazing. I consider myself an expert bowler. He's a low level, but he will work. Get him some meat. One thing is, if you have enjoyed this video so far, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel. And I am at 1,000 subscribers. I mean, I never thought I would get to 1,000 subscribers so fast. So thank you so much. And just keep going. I mean, if you guys like this content, I'm definitely going to keep making more. One thing I was thinking about doing was... Oh, let me just continue here. Day 60, I just got separated from my wyvern, and so I had very little health. Day 61. Day 61, I go on a big grind. I'm actually going to build a trap because I want to tame a Megatherium. I want my options open for the spider cave. So another way to do the spider cave is you can actually take a Megatherium in there. And I was just going to test that out. So I grinded a ton. And so this is more. I got all of these items here. Look at all that. So that's plenty for the trap I'm going to build. Day 63. Day 63, I got in a time lapse here. It should be very fast. And it's just going to show me building the entire trap. If you want to copy this, super simple. Don't copy it exactly, though, and I'll tell you why in a second. You'll see at the end why. But for what I'm doing, for me being able to pick up a Megatherium with my wyvern, it's a perfect trap. So I don't actually need the ramp that won't actually attach. So I didn't have quite enough foundations. I didn't take that one into account. Okay, so back with my other survival idea. So you guys been liking my 100-day series, and so what I was thinking is I could do something similar to that on Ark, except it would be 100 days biome survival. So you know how there's a bunch of different biomes in Ark? It would be like I would spend not 100 days because that's a long time, but maybe like 50 days or 30 days in, say, the snow biome or the ocean biome on Genesis or the redwoods, any of those, or even like a really challenging biome, you know, the volcanic biome on Genesis, you know, things like that. That could be something. If that's something you're interested in, make sure to comment and tell me that, and I will be sure to make that. So I just go with these doorways all the way around. Just a basic trap. But because I didn't have any foundations built out and I didn't have any more pillars, I couldn't actually attach a ramp to this. So you're going to see in a second, I tried and I could only attach the ramp sideways. So I guess it worked okay for what I needed because obviously I can just pick it up. I was really pleased with what happened. I actually ended up with a bunch of extra stuff because when I was first building it, I totally forgot to do door frames, and so what I did was I basically built a bunch of walls and then realized I needed door frames, and so I just kind of scratched the walls and built a bunch of door frames instead. So I just have extra walls sitting out there. So here's my Megatherium. I almost miss it. I almost get him out of the trap, but luckily, look at him. He's barely in that corner. And so see how I got this little ramp right there? So you can't actually place the ramp outwards like you normally would to bait any sort of animal up into the trap. So that's one downfall, but I'm sure you could do it with pillars, or if you put more foundations out, it would work fine. Here it is. Make sure I don't want anything near my trap. I'm really particular about that. I make sure the whole area is very cleared. So that Carno, nope, he's not getting anywhere near my tame. I also got a lot of comments asking for me to make an Ark tutorial video on, like, I already did one similar to like an Ark tutorial on Scorched Earth, but I'm not actually doing, but it wasn't really a full Ark tutorial, so I might do like a full beginner's guide. If that sounds interesting to you, also tell me in the comments. I'll be sure to respond. I respond to most of my comments, basically all of them, so that's one thing. Come on. I actually got a little worried here because I didn't want him to break the foundation or the door frame, but he doesn't actually break the door frame, so that's always good. And the reason I chose this spot is it's probably obvious to most people, but in this biome I can get almost all the dinos I could possibly ask for. Rexes sometimes spawn here, there's Uties spawn here, you know, rhinos spawn here, mammoths spawn here, RGs, wolves, saber-tooths, like everything spawns here. Hurry up and build my Megatherium saddle. Make sure to test that out. Megatheriums are a great tame. Yeah, I think I would call them mid-tier dinosaurs, but they are very good. Like, they're very good mid-tier dinosaurs. Mid to high tier, they're really good. They can also sit down, so that's if you like that feature, you can actually just toggle them to sit down, and they can just sit in your base. So when I got back, he was all tamed up, and I picked him up and brought him back to base. I can normally get there in 2 staminas, so that's actually very good. I upgraded my wyvern stamina a whole bunch, so I don't have to worry about him. So these guys are great berry gatherers, so that's mainly what I'm going to be using him for around the base. And then when I'm not around the base, I'll be using him for, obviously, the spider cave, maybe. But, you know, if I can't live without oxygen, you know, if I can't actually breathe in that spider cave, I'm not gonna bring him in the spider cave. I'll just go Pteranodon, which is definitely gonna be the easiest way. He's looking cool right there. Now, I did the spider cave one other time on Valguero, and I did it with my bear, and I did it with 3 other people, so that made it a lot easier. And so this time, it's going to be a lot more difficult. Day 64. Day 64, we're going to do a little update on the greenhouse here, see what we have. Actually, have a lot of stuff here. So we got lots of wheat. That wheat will be helpful, and so see how I have 20 wheat. That 20 wheat will be perfect because I needed 20 wheat to make one oh my god, one basically flour. It's like dried flour. So in order to make that, you need 20 dried wheat. The one difficulty I figured out is how do you dry wheat. So it actually took me, I looked up on YouTube, couldn't figure it out, and then I finally actually figured it out how you actually dry wheat, which I will show you in a second. That door would shut. So this is how you make dry wheat. It's called a preserving campfire, and so you just put spark powder in it, and it takes about 30 minutes to do 20 fresh, to dry 20 wheat. So it's fresh wheat now. See how it is fresh wheat and it decomposes. Once it dries, it won't decompose. So that's always good. Okay. What was I doing here? Okay, so yeah, this is the sack of flour. So you actually need 20 dried wheat. The problem was it wasn't actually drying and it confused me. And I had waited there for quite a while, but it eventually dries, so that's always good. But that only gets me 1 sack of flour. It's not really helpful. And you need 5 sack of flour to actually get the cake itself. And this is where I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm just gonna give up on the cake and I'm just gonna prepare for the boss. So these things are ribs, and when you cook them, you it'll gain you health right away, and that's what it's saying there. So it's basically like a health booster, except you don't gotta work super hard for it. So I figured that's gotta be enough to bring me through the cave. I'll just run the cave real quick. It'll be in and out. I don't think it'll do that much damage to me, and plus, if the hazmat suit works, I won't even have to worry about it. So this is my hope, is that I don't need a gas mask, and yeah, I just hope I don't need a gas mask. So I'm going into the cave. Look at this. So it always freezes as the way in because it's loading the whole map here. Nice and glowy. I made sure to turn my gamma up so you guys can see in here because it was really dark. So right now I'm just trying to go in slowly and spot out my area. I wanted to spot out my surroundings, don't waste any stamina. And the main thing I wanted to do was not to go deep into the gases unless I had to. And so I figured at this point I gotta be in the gases. And then I start feeling the gases up in a second. That's when it gets bad. And I know it's right to this way. I'm like, oh, there's gases, but I know right up here I can get to it very soon underneath here. I figured I could dart to the artifact and get it. And I know it's back in that corner there. But then when I was taking so much damage, I'm like, holy crap. And I'm doing this, the things was helped a little bit, but I'm still taking damage. Oh my gosh. Was I taking damage? And so at this point, I'm going, oh my gosh, okay. Too late. Ignore the artifact. Let's turn back. Let's see if we can get out in time. I think I can make it. I think I can make it. And I get stuck on that tree, and I do not make it. And so that's me with, like, everything I had, everything valuable. And obviously my Pteranodon gets shredded. And so I respawn. And I'm seriously considering, I'm like, I don't know what to do. And what I do now is I actually head to the obelisk right there, the green obelisk, because I wanted to see if there's a way I can do the boss without tackling the spider cave at all. I want to do the boss, but totally skip the spider cave. And so it turns out there is a way, but not the best way. It's actually the alpha boss. So the alpha boss, yeah, It's the alpha boss. So basically, the hardest artifacts are not needed for the hardest boss. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. But I figured, well, I don't want to go in the spider cave, and I might be able to take on the alpha boss. So I go around and I go on like a kill streak here. And what I do is, I basically just kill everything around. And I'm trying to get any type of trophies, carno heads, carno brains, sauropod vertebrae, everything, Rexes. Actually, I didn't see that many Rexes in this adventure. I think I only saw one Rex, which was surprising, because normally I see Rexes. Somewhat common. Day 68, I just ended up with all these things. Some trophies, decent. I got a lot of sauropod ones. And I was basically picking and choosing the more valuable ones. So I only got like a few RGs, a few rhinos. But the main ones I wanted was the sauropod. Then I realized at the end that the sauropod actually doesn't help me at all. So here I actually have a Deodon that I picked up. And I'm going to use my trap again because I'm still preparing for the alpha boss fight. Thinking I could do it, right? And so I simply placed this guy in the trap. I told you everything you can find is around here, so this is a perfect spot for a trap. I mean, I got the green area down there if I wanted to like stegos and herbivores, and I have the kind of snowy area up here. I have most all dinos. And the snow biome's right behind there, so it's just a perfect spot. One thing I did not realize, though, is the Alpha 1 takes 2 giga hearts, I think it is. 2 giga, either way, 2 giga trophies, okay? That means I would have to kill 2 gigas. Now, I'm like on day 60, and I haven't seen a single giga. And that's when I start realizing, oh no, this alpha boss is not going to work out. So I want to know you guys' comments. So I want you guys to comment and tell me whether I should go for the alpha boss, try and find a giga if I can even find it. Don't go for the boss at all, and like my final one would be maybe beating the spider boss that's just in the spider area. Or tell me if should I cheat spawn the gas mask so I can actually do the cave, so I can actually do the boss. Here are all our Deinonychuses. I just left them here from the last from the end of the last episode, just because I didn't want to bring them all the way back to the base, and they have plenty of health and everything. It's a nice safe spot for them. If I brought them back to the base, it would probably be pretty difficult because they kept getting stuck on things, and I was just... They're fine here, so if that's what you were wondering, they're here. But I love these guys. I'm gonna do a little roar with these guys here. Look at this super pack. I would love for these guys to take on the boss. I mean, it might be a slaughter, it might not. But supposedly, they don't register to the boss, so the bosses don't even attack them, and you just kind of bait the boss around the map while they attack them. That's my strategy. And so, next thing I came up with a idea to tame not a megalodon, a mosasaur. So, in order to tame a mosasaur, I first needed a harpoon gun. And so, the harpoon gun took organic polymer, all sorts of stuff. But the last item was organic polymer, and that's me getting it. So, you don't know where it is. It's all along this beach, and basically any beach area on Valguero. You can find these dead whales, dead dolphins, all along this path, and just get you a ton of organic polymer super easily. It's a great spot. Kind of got stuck on that rock there. It's a good dolphin. So I ended up getting the last little bit of organic polymer. At this point, I knew I got plenty, but I wanted to make sure I got a little bit extra because I wasn't sure if I was going to actually end up making 2 harpoon guns. I don't, just because the metal it takes is quite a bit, and I wanted to start getting on the harpoon, the spear bolts. So the spear bolts that actually it takes. So in order to tame a megalodon or a mosasaur, you need a whole lot of spear bolts and the tranquilizing spear bolts. So it basically takes 1 spear bolt and 2 trank arrows. So I harvested a bunch of trank arrows, and I just get on a real grind. But only other problem is, how was I going to go underwater, and how was I going to get oxygen, because there are no scuba tanks on Primitive Plus. So I went for the more primitive method, and I'm going to tame a dinosaur that can actually get me oxygen. I figured that would be a nice improvised scuba tank and really show off the Primitive Plus aspect of Primitive Plus. The primitive aspect of Primitive Plus. So here in a second, after this long grind here. Now I want you to go ahead and guess what dinosaur it is. Most people know about this dinosaur, but if you don't, you will see. So I'm just grinding. I'm getting a few trank arrows here and there. I end up making a whole lot of trank arrows too. Just grinding up, getting a couple spear bolts just to show off the spear bolt. See what it looks like. I really like the time lapses. I never did it in the other videos, so here I'm going to show it off here. I tested it out. I think it actually works pretty good. I can start adding these into the video, maybe with some music or something, to make it a little bit more entertaining. Also, I'm sorry about this video taking a lot longer than the last one, because I know it's because I had it getting ready and then school started and I kind of got off track, and it basically just took a lot longer than I thought it would. Day 72. Now, I'm looking for the dinosaur that is an oxygen tank, and it is all through the swamp biome. And so I spent the entire day, and this is the end of the day now. This is even the next day. And looking for an oxygen tank, and I just went around until I finally found it. I was basically about to give up, and I found it. So this is the Dinosuchus, and so let's see right here. So that's what he looks like. He basically looks like some sort of salamander thing with a weird looking head. So I just bring him to a safer area to tame him. And the problem with them is, on other maps they spawn in the swamp, and generally there's like a safer area of the swamp where they can live for, 5 minutes before they die. Yeah, I think the main thing is they spawn regularly. I mean, they're not uncommon, they just die so fast. I mean, I found one other, Diplodocus. Not Dinoculus, it's Diplocalos. Oh my gosh. Not Diplodocus, Diplocalus, okay. Diplocalus. Anyway, I start getting up a bunch more metal. Really go on a grind here. And for a while we actually had no sound. It was because my HD60 is, it does kind of a weird glitch where occasionally it won't do the sound. And so maybe I'll record a few videos with the sound and all of a sudden it'll cut off, and I think the sound's still going, and I'll look back at it and I'll be like, well, I don't have any game audio, but it'll have to do. But I figured it wouldn't be a lot of problem, because a lot of you guys complained about the game audio on my last video being too much, so I'm going to make sure that is not a problem. You should be able to hear me perfectly fine. I just make a whole lot of these, but obviously this is not anywhere near the amount I'm going to need to tame a Megalodon, so it's going to take, 5 straight days of just getting trank bolts, harpoon tranquilizers. Oh my gosh. It's gonna take a long time. The main thing is the metal. The metal's what's taking a while. Because I'll get on a groove and then I'll run out of metal. And I'll have to wait for the metal to refine. And I'll get on a groove and I'll run out of metal. Repetitive process, but it is Ark and it is fun. Once I tame this Megalodon, now here's what I was doing. I was rushing in these last couple of days because I came up with this idea to get this done. And I grinded all day 74, day 75. I wanted to actually be able to tame the thing, or at least place the trap down or find it day 74, but I realized it just wasn't going to happen. It was taking way too long. But I did want to show you the ocean biome, and you might be wondering, how am I going to find a mosasaur on Valguero? It's just basically a big river going through the center. Well, here's how. There's actually a underwater ocean. And sorry about the quality, the video got corrupted, or for whatever reason I could not put it in my editor, so I actually screen recorded it. But anyway, I go down in this cave system, and there's a huge pathway, and I just basically follow a pathway all the way to the end, and it opens up into a giant ocean underneath the entire map that you don't even know about unless you find it. And so, if you don't know about this, this is one great thing. But most people don't, because most people don't, just like me, I hardly ever go in the ocean. So there's a Megalodon. It starts to open up, but I was also running low on oxygen. I was about half oxygen. I knew it would probably take half my oxygen to get back as well. And so I didn't want to waste any oxygen. So I go ahead and head back. But next episode, I will be underneath of this ocean. I will be in this underground ocean, taming a Megalodon. Oh my god. Mosasaurus. I am sorry. So this is the... Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And yeah. See you in the next one.